Hi everybody, this is Dana coming at you. Today is Monday, September 13th. I am about to head over to the bank to address the fact that our bank account has been hacked and completely emptied, and I don't know if it is my entire identity or just my bank account. So before I go and get into that, I wanted to record something very short today because I did speak to my sister-in-law last night. She works in debt collection, so she has an incredible amount of practical working knowledge about just the industry. I mean, and all things related to identity theft, because protecting the identity of their clients and customers is just one of the highest priorities at their place of business. So she's very well versed in all of this and really kept up to date on like what people are doing. You know, people can scan your debit card if it's in your pocket. It doesn't have to be a skimmer at a gas station, although that's one of the top ways that they get your banking information or your credit card information is with a skimmer. But the information, they're so tech savvy now that we just haven't even caught up with all the things they're able to do. So anyway, she gave me a list of some things to do if your identity, if a bank account was ever hacked or your identity stolen. So most of these I think are pretty intuitive, but the bottom line is you don't think of that when you're in a stressful situation. You just start, okay, I'll speak for myself. I just started to panic. I did not immediately think of all the things and the steps I just panicked. So it was good to sit down with her. Number one, obviously check for activity on any and all credit cards, not just your bank account. So that means to check in and pull all three of your credit reports for you and your spouse. Like for example, our account, the account that was hacked is a joint account. So I have to pull all my husband's credit reports as well, just to make sure there's no suspicious activity on either his or mine. We're also going to have to look and see if we have any outstanding checks that are due for bills, that are due for bills, and just to check in with the bank to make sure, that to look out for those amounts, that those would be like approved amounts, and go forward from there. Now I have AAA. I know that AAA offers some kind of identity protection program, or perhaps it's a credit monitoring system. It's all pretty fuzzy right now. That's why I'm working with a written list here. For the time being, and I hate this. I hate that she's probably right about this, right? So like, I'm not mad at her. I just hate that she's right about it because it's so hard. She said she would consider shutting the entire checking account down and just getting a new checking account, opening a new one. Maybe like leave the minimum balance in there and, if anything, put a couple dollars in it here and there and have it be like something that you use for Christmas. But again, something that she says she checks in twice a week with her bank. And she still balances a checkbook. So to be fair, she is also single, so she does have considerably more time than maybe some folks. Not that that in any way relieves me of the responsibility, but it does, I think, help account for some of her really well-established habits and routines, because she's had time to really develop them. And then being in the industry, she also really knows what to look for and is really at the top of her game. Like I said, just an incredible resource. So yeah, so she suggested maybe it might even be worth getting a new account altogether, just to be starting fresh, essentially. Change all passwords. She said change passwords to every single account you have. Start from scratch. And don't use any passwords you've used before. Don't use any phrases that you've used before. So this is obviously like this huge undertaking. And for a little while, at least until the credit report, the other thing, let me get back to that. Okay. So the other thing that she mentioned is that it might be worth, self-imposed daily limits on the new account, just so that more money cannot be taken out than would be reasonable should the accounts get hacked again for whatever reason, and they were going to make, say, a $500 purchase, but we had, say, a $250 daily limit on our checking account, then obviously that would throw up a red flag and they would reach out and contact us. That would then prevent this from happening in the future, because there were what they did were a number of smaller purchases, of course, everything online, but then there were a couple of larger purchases, and those are the things that set off the flags for the fraud department. And because neither he nor I had checked our bank account in 4 days, that was all the time it took. Not fun. There was something I was going to say about the self-imposed daily limits, right? So here's just some other practical things, right? A lot of my friends that have had this happen to them, they use cash. They have their old school Dave Ramsey physical cash in hand. And a lot of them have mentioned that, especially now with the instability, geopolitical instability, let's say, that a lot of them have cash on hand. And so again, for any of those friends that are tuning in, I really just want to say, as soon as once I started letting people know what happened, after I panicked and had a fit and did the whole thing, after that, when I started to let people know what happened, I had friends that just were telling me where their spare keys were and where they keep their hidden cash and to take what I need. It's like, those are good friends. Those are good friends. Thank God for those friends. I really do appreciate the hell out of you guys. And it means everything in like a moment of panic to know that there is at least someone you can reach out to. And again, to just remain ever thankful for the fact that we are not without support. So some other things moving forward that, just from a practical standpoint, a lot of my friends use cash for groceries, unless they do online, grocery, like Walmart does online ordering. So like that's one way to use a debit card for groceries, but otherwise that they use cash for gas, especially because gas is such a, the skimmers at the gas stations are such a big target here in Philadelphia. I don't know, probably in other major metropolitan areas, but I assume these things happen in more rural areas as well. It's just that I imagine they don't have access to the high-tech type gadgetry that you might have in like New York, Philly, Boston, Washington, D.C. area. We're kind of a hotbed for new and improved crime. So yeah, that's fun. There was that pulling the credit. Oh, that was the other important thing about the credit report. So once you she suggested that we pull all of our credit reports now, but then she also made it a point to mention that, it can take 30 to 60 days for everything to come up on the credit report. So say they just 2 days ago tried to open something at Raymore and Flanagan, it's entirely possible that, I'm not going to see that if I pull my credit report today. She said, nonetheless, it still makes sense to go ahead and pull the credit report today so that I have a baseline to work with. And I think that's a good idea. So you guys, wish me luck. I just don't even know if there's enough caffeine in the whole wide world to get me through this day. It's like you wake up and some days, you have things to look forward to. And then today I just know it's just going to be like a shit sandwich. And my first stop is the bank. So wish me luck. If you can, guys, give this video a thumbs up. If you learned something new today, let me know. If something crazy like this has happened to you, how long did it take? Was it just your bank? Was it your entire credit? That's what I'm about to go explore and discover today. So I will check in tomorrow with everything I learned. Hopefully my loss can be your gain, and you will learn or pick something up that will hopefully prevent this from happening to you, or at least if it does happen to you, help make things a little bit easier for you moving forward so that you have a little bit of a framework to go from. I'm thankful that, unfortunately, this hasn't happened in my immediate family, but I do know friends it's happened to. But my dad is very helpful, and my sister-in-law has been great too. So I'm getting really good advice, and I just wanted to pass it on to you guys. It also helps kind of solidify for me the plan in my head, and it helps me kind of strategize like what's going to come first and kind of rank order of importance. So these videos really do help me just as much as it helps you. Plus sometimes this is the only grown-up I talk to all day. I'm a homeschooling mom, you guys. Like, what do? I sit here and talk to an 8-year-old, and let me tell you something about her. She's brilliant. It's like I dropped the other 2 kids off at school, right? And she changes. She suddenly matures somehow. So we have great conversations, but sometimes I still miss talking to grown-ups. You know what I mean? homeschool mom life, I suppose. I guess I better get used to it. It's okay though. It's all good. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate your time. Have a great day. Bye.